Hello there guys, Billybo10K here, bringing you another Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Billy Twitter Theory video, where today we take a look at your guys' Twitter theories to see who you think could potentially be joining the cast in this DLC Fighters pack. And everyone noted that in previous Rate Their Chances, I've stated, I'm really thinking there's going to be a Capcom representative. And Gamma Bomb on Twitter, at Gamma Bomb with two B's at the end, has a proposition regarding a character that I've originally written off, but who knows, maybe this could be the start of something new. But before we get to this character, I want to give a quick shout out to all of my patrons over on Patreon. You guys are amazing, your support this month has been awesome, and if you guys want to get shouted out and you want to help out, keep this channel alive, there is a link to my Patreon down below. I do want to do something with it at some point, but I'm notoriously really bad at keeping track of Patreon rewards, so I don't like promising too much. But if you want to help support the channel and ensure we can continue creating content, then please take a look at the link below. If you didn't see my previous BBTT video, I did one yesterday on Lloyd Irving. You can find a link in the top right corner. And I did one a few days ago on Okami's Amaterasu, which was a really well put together argument. So I feel like those are worth watching. Check them out. I also did a Crash Team Racing Nitro-fueled review video, which I think is also really good. Please consider checking it out. I really want my review videos to do well, so links in the top right. Anyway, today's thread is going to be about the Hunter from Monster Hunter, a character that arguably a lot of us have written off simply because we feel that Rathalos is a better way to represent Monster Hunter in Smash Bros. But Gamma Bomb is here to potentially change my mind, and one of the big reasons why I'm really looking at this BBTT, it's got like slideshow pictures. We're going back to like the old Elmer one. It's a very similar style, and it's so simple to put into a video. So we're just gonna get into it. Links to the original tweet down below. Let's get started. Monster Hunter BBTT intro. Heyo, just wanted to put my Monsters Hunter's helm in the BBTT ring. Every time you posted a video on the BBTT, I started to really think about making my own, but what really pushed me is the Ace Attorney Twitter thread, where the author of the thread disregarded the Monster Hunter, and you agreed with him. Now, of course, just based on the Rathalos theory, along with a couple others, you'd think it'd be a cut and dry no for them to get in. But I'm here to sway the opinions of the Monster Hunter non-believers. Happy hunting for my reasons. Let's do this. Reason 1. Capcom and Nintendo are pretty good buds. As we know, Sakurai stated that Nintendo picked the DLC roster, so any third-party company in bed with Nintendo automatically has a leg up when it comes to certain characters' chances in Smash Ultimate. Some of these highly requested third-party characters for Smash usually have to find obscure or thin lines to connect them to Nintendo in order to justify their inclusion in Smash, but Monster Hunter has a rich history on Nintendo platforms. Monster Hunter Tri for the Wii, 3 Ultimate and 4 Ultimate for the Wii U and 3DS, Monster Hunter Generations for the 3DS, Generations Ultimate for the Switch, and Monster Hunter Stories for the 3DS. This series has been on Nintendo's consoles. That's always a good thing in favor of Monster Hunter. Part 1.1. Nintendo and Capcom have had a great relationship for years, and even more so when it comes to Monster Hunter. Just to bring it home how great they work together, here are a few of the crossovers that they've done in the past. A playable Calico in Mario Maker, Mario and Luigi Palico skins, did I say Calico? I meant Palico. Samus Link and Marth armor sets, Isabelle Toon Link Star Fox Palico skins, Monster Hunter Stories Legend of Zelda DLC pack, Zelda Breath of the Wild DLC with Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate. There's a lot. Yeah, Nintendo and Capcom are great friends. I already believe Capcom is going to get another representative, so this is just solidifying why I feel Capcom is going to get another representative, but you could also say this about any of Capcom's franchises, really, because all of them have very well supported the Switch, aside from maybe Devil May Cry, which is just now kind of coming into existence. Part 2, Monster Hunter Mii skins. In Smash 4, there were Monster Hunter Mii skins, the Origin Hunter armor set, and the Rathalos armor set for the male and female Mii sword fighters. The armor was identical and very accurate to the original sets in the Monster Hunter series. The detail in the Mii fighter's armor is breathtaking, and is a glimpse into how amazing an actual Monster Hunter character would be. That alone shows they at least acknowledge and possibly even thought about adding the Hunter to Smash 4, but maybe it's not too late for them to join Smash Ultimate. At the very least, fighters like Isabelle, King K. Rool, and Chrom had Mii skins in Smash 4, and are all fully fleshed out characters in Ultimate, so how about the Hunter? Well, Part 3, Monster Hunter without the Hunter. While the Rathalos does have 2 music tracks, it's the only boss from a universe with no characters, items, or stages. While the Rathalos boss fight is on a stage from Monster Hunter, there is no Monster Hunter stage outside of the World of Light campaign, much to many hunters' sadness, including mine. I must admit it was amazing to see him as an assist trophy, but to have literally no other spirits? Every boss in World of Light, save for the Smash original ones, has a respective fighter from that series, but Rathalos is very much alone in that regard. Why have the Monster Hunter but not his arch nemesis? Since the dawn of the game on the PS2, the Monster Hunter. It just doesn't make sense. Moving on. Part 4. Monster Hunter isn't new to the fighting genre. In Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, the Monster Hunter joined the game in the later DLC pack. She has moves, attacks, taunts, skins, as well as her own soundtracks that were added. I know Sakurai wouldn't want to copy and paste from another game, but a template or a skeleton for inspiration of the fighter is there to be used. In one of the stages, it even has one of the largest elder dragons in Monster Hunter roaming in the background. All of these things at the very least show that Monster Hunter as a fighter isn't so far-fetched as people think. My only change is that you'd be able to choose between male or female in-game, like Pokemon Trainer or Villager. Part 5.1. It's an easy win-win. Now, of course, Smash is a fighting game, but it also serves as a huge playable promotional advertisement for games and their respective characters. It lets people try out a character in stage with some music to see if they want to maybe buy the game of said character, but vice versa, it also brings in people who may not play Smash to at least hop on the Smash bandwagon because their favorite video game character is in with all these other gaming icons. Monster Hunter has sold over 50 million copies worldwide, and with Monster Hunter World, this series has become Capcom's best-selling game series of all time. Beating out those doggos that are barking downstairs, and heavy hitters like Street Fighter, Mega Man, Devil May Cry, Ace Attorney, and even one of my personal favorite game series, Resident Evil. Imagine how many more hunters are going to take another look at picking up Smash when not only Rathalos is in-game, but the OG hunter himself and herself. Monster Hunter World even got nominated for Game of the Year, RPG of the Year, and Best Multiplayer Game of the Year at the Game Awards, and it walked away with the RPG title. Now my issue with this, and this is why I think Monster Hunter maybe won't be getting in, is that for a promotional advertisement, the Monster Hunter should have been revealed with the Rathalos back in the August Direct during the base roster campaign, because Rathalos being in the game already sells Monster Hunter and showcases it to everyone that is watching and playing Smash. I just don't understand what would go through Capcom and Sakurai's mind to include the Rathalos, but then not include the Monster Hunter until potentially a year later. That just doesn't make sense to me from a development standpoint, and just from a game dev standpoint. But if you can find a way to prove why those thoughts of mine are wrong, I will happily accept that. Anyway, 5.2. It's an easy win-win. Now, of course, Monster Hunter World is not on Nintendo platforms, but the series as a whole has enough clout to really bring in new and old hunters to Smash Ultimate, as well as get Smash players interested in Monster Hunter as a whole. And even if there isn't a new Monster Hunter on the Switch Horizon, Monster Hunter Generations has sold over 1.2 million copies, and that's without hardly any marketing. Imagine if the hints and rumors are true of a new Monster Hunter Next Switch game, along with his or her inclusion in Smash Ultimate, with them actually trying to market the game. It'll be big bucks for both Nintendo and for Capcom. Sales, sales, and more sales. Since the release of Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite back in September 19th, 2017, the game had only sold a total of 1 million copies up through December 31st of that year, and that number still sat around the million mark since last updated in March 2018. Since the release of Smash Ultimate back in December 7th, 2018, it's sold over 12 million copies and is the Switch's third best-selling title. there are a lot more people playing Smash Ultimate than the similar crossover fighting game Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. Now, as stated above, even though Infinite didn't sell spectacularly well, and the game is met with a lot of criticism and hate from its own community, the hype and love for the Monster Hunter character that came in the DLC is shown throughout all communities. Now imagine the hype that would come with Monster Hunter coming to the crossover fighting game of the century on Nintendo Switch. This along with Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate currently on the Switch, and the upcoming Monster Hunter Switch title hinted by the Monster Hunter team, there's just too much to gain from Nintendo and Capcom for them not to take advantage of this. Point against 1. And now we're onto the points against. Okay, because the tweets kind of get a bit hard to kind of follow at this point. But yeah, points against. The Rathalos was announced. Wouldn't it make sense to announce the Hunter as a character then to keep the Monster Hunter hype going? Why release it later as DLC? Please prove me wrong here. I want to be proven wrong. Counter argument. Well, here's another question. If the Hunter really wasn't going to be in Smash Ultimate, wouldn't they announce the Monster Hunter Mii Fighter skins along with the Rathalos? Mii skins, while some may not like them, allows people to at least simulate playing their favorite character while showing respect to game franchises who didn't make the cut. After Joker and his content dropped, they also announced and showed off the Knuckles and Tails Mii Fighter skins, mainly because Sega was both of their publishers. But you'd think if they were really going to keep that Monster Hunter hype going without an actual fighter, they'd bring the Monster Hunter Armor skins back. Now, with that said, yes, a lot of third-party skins and hats are gone, but until the Monster Hunter Mii skin is shown, I'll keep this point at the forefront. And I have a counter-argument against that. You're saying that a lot of the third-party skins are gone. No, all of them were gone. Not a single third-party skin was included in Ultimate, aside from the ones that actually, no, I don't think the ones that were from assist trophies got included. I don't think any third-party skins were included, it was all first-party stuff. So why would the Monster Hunter skin have come back if they weren't including third-party skins? Because my opinion is that the third-party skins are being saved for DLC because they were DLC in Smash 4 and the DLC holders want them to be paid for again. Makes sense. And it also doesn't really help the Hunter as much as it helps a Capcom rep in general. Because if we go by the theory, the Mii costume theory, that when a company gets a character, the old Mii costumes from their company return, then any Capcom rep can take this spot. It doesn't have to be the Hunter. And we could still get the Mii costumes for Monster Hunter back, even if we get, say, a Resident Evil rep, or a Phoenix Wright rep, or an Amaterasu. Like, this doesn't really fully break the argument. That's what I'm trying to say. I feel like I made my points in a roundabout way, but I don't think this completely destroys the argument, I'm afraid. Though it gives it a good shot. Point against 2. The Rathalos was announced. Wouldn't it make sense? Wait, that's the exact same thing. Counter argument 2 continued. While watching your Phoenix Wright BBTT video, I came across a comment that summed up my last point against the Rathalos announcement. Comment and reason by Shadeslayer in the comment section of your Phoenix Wright BBTT video. The Monster Hunter would have to be a very complicated character to fully represent Monster Hunter, so I can see them being held back for DLC so they don't have to rush them. And about the surprise reason, I feel like people saying Sakurai wouldn't do it is because of a lack of surprise. Would be surprised if he did it, so the very existence of that argument is the counter-argument. Okay, someone's a gigabrain here. So my issue is that the Monster Hunter being complicated really shouldn't affect its character being in the game. I mean, Ridley was apparently a really complicated character to fit in Smash simply because they couldn't visualize a moveset initially. I would say every character that has been added into Ultimate is quite complicated, and I don't think, since they knew who they wanted in the base roster from literally the get-go, from the end of 2015, I don't think that in 3 years they wouldn't be able to develop the Monster Hunter character. I don't think this is a character who needs the DLC to be developed, and everyone says they're going to be very complex, but if we look at the hero from Dragon Quest, who kind of fills a similar niche in his franchise, where he's kind of very complex himself, I just feel like this is kind of relying on the fact that so far the 3 characters we've gotten seem to have very complex movesets in terms of their mechanics. Joker has Arsene, the hero has the list of spells that randomizes, Banjo-Kazooie, from what we can tell, has the invincibility feathers that might factor into his moveset. I just feel like you can't assume that because of that, the other 2 characters are going to be crazy, intense, and mechanically challenging like Monster Hunter would be. I don't understand the development thought behind leaving Rathalos and not bringing in Monster Hunter. I just feel like Rathalos is a better... You know, the monsters are like the whole point of the series. That's why I feel like Rathalos is the best representative for said series. I will say this argument is fairly okay, it is fairly balanced, I can't necessarily disprove it. I just feel like the logic behind it is a bit off, but that's more of a personal preference, and I guess it's going to be different regardless of who takes a look at this. So really, it comes down to what you guys think, so you guys can analyze that yourselves. Point against 3. The Monster Hunter is a generic customizable avatar, so one single character couldn't represent the series. I'm gonna just... This isn't... Is someone, like... Do people actually use this as an excuse? Because we have so many generic customizable avatar characters in Smash already, with the Villager specifically is, like, the big one. I mean, arguably, the Monster Hunter... Not the Monster Hunter, the Dragon Quest characters kind of fill in that sort of niche as well. I feel like generic customizable avatar just isn't like an argument anymore. You can't make that argument. So I'm actually going to skip this, because I actually don't think this is a point against the Monster Hunter. I think anyone that's making this point against the Monster Hunter is just wrong and is ignoring the fact that we have had generic customizable avatars in Smash before. Look at Robin, for example. He was completely customizable in his original game, and they went with his default look. Same with Corrin to a smaller extent. So this really... No, this is not a point against the Monster Hunter, and I don't think you need to argue this point, because, you know, there are so many different Monster Hunters, but they all have bright and shining personalities, so I don't think that's going to be an issue to get them into Smash. So, points against, from Reddit to YouTube to Twitter, hosts the majority of people were excited to be able to play Monster Hunter in Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, especially the Monster Hunter fans themselves. I didn't even play the Marvel vs. Capcom games, but I was extremely happy to see her, and even a semi-stage to play on. So happy that I actually bought the game for cheap just to play as her. Furthermore, characters like Inkling, Corrin, Robin, and Villager, bam, are generic customizable characters, yet they're in the game. Monster Hunter could have different palette swaps, and it would be just fine. And yeah, that's completely correct. That is completely fair. Alright, we're almost there, guys. There's still a few more slides to go. Okay, so more points against. How would you even implement Monster Hunter as a character? There were 14 different weapon types in the Monster Hunter series. That's too many weapons. It's going to be super quick, because if I go into too much detail, we're going to be here all day. With exceptions like Ryu and Bayonetta of alternate specials, pretty much every other character has about 40 different input attacks for the basic character. That's way more than enough to show off 14 different weapons, as well as traps, bombs, and other miscellaneous things the hunter has in their arsenal. In Monster Hunter, a mainstay for all the games has been the Gestures tab, as it has tons of things like Dance, Kickback, Prance, and Clap that the hunter can execute. Pull a few of the gestures for the taunts, winning screen, and idle animations, and you've got your Hunter for Smash Ultimate. There are over 20 different areas, from the wintry Arctic Ridge to the boiling volcanic hollow in Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate, along for them to choose from, one of them being Ancestral Steppe, which was in the World of Light campaign where you hunt the Rathalos. Just to make it easy, they could simply grab that stage, add some roaming herbivores and maybe some cheering palicos in the background and call it a day. I also agree, I don't think the amount of weapons that a character has necessarily matters. Worst case, just limit it down to the most popular ones, but if not, look at the Inkling. They have so many different ways that they can, and weapons based on their specials. So really, the amount of weapons a player has shouldn't matter. Last couple of points. Here are some minor points that support the Monster Hunter that may not carry much weight, but I'll take anything I can get. Monster Hunter's 15th anniversary is this year, and even though this has only been relevant for Little Mac's 30th Smash Bros. 4 announcement, a small chance is still a chance. The next Monster Hunter Switch game has been hinted at, and a character may coincide with this to advertise the game. Because there wasn't a Monster Hunter stage, several hunters in the Reddit community have made Monster Hunter stages in the stage builder with moving ships and monsters. Maybe this will push the hype for Monster Hunter coming with his own stage? I disagree with that, because the DLC was chosen in November, which means that the stage builder wasn't even a thing then and can't influence the current DLC. Maybe if there's a Fighter Pack 2, then it could influence that, but that point does not work with DLC Fighter Pack 4 and 5. Monster Hunter World, the Iceborne expansion is coming, and could coincide with that to push the hype for Monster Hunter. And a rough spirit board I made that would go with the hunter. Each spirit could be a monster from the series, would give love to the real stars of the show, and give veterans and newbies a good taste of the monsters while playing Smash. Once again, dope advertising for all Monster Hunter series. And we've got a bunch of monsters here as well, including the Palicos. Of course you're going to have the Palicos. I think maybe a Rathalos spirit. Oh, the Gaia Cruise is down there as well. That's nice. Right in a Ketchi's spot. Great. Okay. That's a great place to put the Gaia Cruise, that terrifying thing. And lastly, other Capcom reps. So let's talk about them. Dante. The developers themselves said a game on the Switch would need to come first before a fighter, and while they have recently announced it is coming to the Switch, Bayonetta honestly fills the hack-and-slash demon-slaying slot. That being said, we once again need to point out that characters don't necessarily fill in slots. They are just whether Sakurai finds them interesting, and I think we all get very caught up in like, oh, maybe we need a horror game rep, or maybe we need a retro rep or an indie rep. But in reality, it's just the characters that Sakurai finds fun, and he always subverts our expectations. I would also argue that Dante as a whole is more iconic than Bayonetta, so really, he should have been in the game before she should have. But obviously, because Bayonetta is co-owned by Nintendo, she got in first. Leon and Jill. The problem with Leon and Jill isn't that they are regular people, it's that it would be difficult to make someone who just uses guns and knives into a fun and proper character. It's the fear of them being clunky and too similar to other characters, comment by Masked Man. See, I feel like Sakurai could get around this. That being said, Snake is a guy with a knife and guns, and he's fun, so I feel like they could probably do a different spin on that. Most video games have people with guns and knives, and they're fun to play as. I feel like maybe if you incorporate the zombies as well, and you incorporate some of the more fantastical weapons that we've seen in the series, I think Leon or Jill could be very enjoyable. If characters like Snake or Joker weren't in the game, I could honestly see Leon and Jill making it into the roster. The idea of them joining is amazing, but the possible execution of them wouldn't be anything too special or dynamic. It hurt a little to type that because I love the Resident Evil series. See, I disagree with that, because a lot of people weren't very excited for the Dragon Quest characters and they felt there wouldn't be anything special and they'd be another sword fighter, but they seem really fun and dynamic, and they completely blew away our expectations. I know saying, oh, Sakurai can just blow away our expectations isn't necessarily a valid argument, but it is something I'm going to point out because so far in this DLC pack, or DLC Fighter Pass, every fighter has blown away our expectations and gone above and beyond what we thought their moveset would be. Amy. No shade to the character, but her series isn't that well known, and while she does have her game on the Switch and her design is amazing, simply not a lot of people even know who she is, and other Capcom reps have a better chance than she does. I disagree with her series not being well known. I think it is well known. I think people don't necessarily know the character, but I bet you show someone the art style from Okami, and they probably will say, yeah, I have seen this somewhere before. They may not know that the series is called Okami, they may not know anything about the series, but I bet you they will know the art style. And Ace Attorney. I think he has the best case against Monster Hunter. His series is a cult classic, but the money numbers don't lie. Monster Hunter has sold more than any other series listed above, especially on Nintendo platforms, and with the Iceborne expansion coming to Monster Hunter World in the near future Monster Hunter Switch title, Monster Hunter has a whole lot more money-wise going for it. Though if the Hunter didn't make the cut, I'd totally be down for Phoenix. I will also point out though, with your money argument of Monster Hunter, yes, it's the best-selling series that Capcom has, but how many games does Monster Hunter have in comparison to these other franchises? Like, for example, I'm pretty sure the Monster Hunter franchise has a lot of games, and a lot of re-releases, so that would definitely bolster the amount of sales that the series has had, whereas I feel like some of these other franchises have had less games, but have had a lot more sales kind of in the single games overall. I would also say that Monster Hunter, while it's certainly a lot more popular, and while I think World definitely did a lot of help in bringing it more to the West, I feel like it still needs that push in the West, same as maybe Dragon Quest. Maybe that could be fulfilled with a DLC character, or maybe it's just not their time yet. I'm not sure. And if you made it through this whole thing, kudos to you. Thank you for reading this theory. I just wanted to make this so Monster Hunter non-believers don't totally write them off yet. Alright, overall, looking at this theory, there are a lot of actual valid points for the Monster Hunter. I think the point that the Monster Hunter coming later on simply because it may coincide with a promotional pick, or perhaps the character really did need to be held back because it was so important or crazy, could possibly make sense. That being said, I'm still just a little bit suspicious as to why they wouldn't have said anything and then revealed the Rathalos. That really bothers me on a personal level. And that's the only thing that's really stopping me from thinking about Monster Hunter. Because if the Rathalos wasn't in the game, then I probably would be on the Monster Hunter train completely, but that is just so suspicious to me. And I feel like, given that Monster Hunter is already in the game, I feel like it would be kind of a... I don't want to say a waste of money, but like we'd be paying for a stage that's probably just going to be the ancestral step, but with extra stuff added, and we already have that in the game, even if we only use it for the Rathalos boss fight, so that doesn't necessarily sit right with me. But I think this thread has definitely convinced me that the Hunter isn't completely out of it, and definitely does have a shot. Perhaps I'll take a look at the Hunter again and rate their chances soon to give my personal thoughts after I've stewed and thought about this for a bit. But thank you very much, Gamma Bomb, for this BBTT. I hope to dear God that people take this with a grain of salt and really consider the Hunter potentially being in-game, and hopefully this is the start of a dialogue and debate down below. I know that I sound very delirious in this video, and I definitely stuttered over a few of my points, but God, it's the middle of summer, I'm burning, and I need to stop this recording. So thank you for watching, I will talk to you guys next time. If you guys enjoyed, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Once again, shout out to my patrons. Join my Discord if you're interested, public Discord, lovely place, lots of channels. We've got a Mario Maker 2 channel and a Smash channel, and it's really cool. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching, and well, goodbye.